Welcome again to So Like a Costume Designer. That's me, Karen Keach Swerling. Karen Swerling. You can find me on IMDb. I worked in the film business for 33 years. I did film, television, commercials, theater, industrials. I did a ballet. I have done every type of designing except for I never did an opera. Well, I'm not dead yet. There's still time. So I worked in the film business for 33 years. During that period, while I was working 18 hours a day, I also taught at different colleges because I wanted young people to understand how to really be a costume designer, how to treat actors, how to go into stores and be polite and respectful, how to organize a film, how to see a vision. It's not just about buying clothes or just going out and getting fabric and having the costume shop make it up. No, it's about really being passionate about what you do and sharing that with all the people on the team. The team being the director with the vision. You work with the director. The producer with the budget. The tiny limited budget. You know what? The tinier, the better sometimes, because that really gets your imagination going. How do you pull a rabbit out of a hat? I've done that a couple of times. You just make it work. It's very exciting. I have to say that once I went to a screening of a very huge budgeted film, and after the film, the crew came out and talked to us about making the film, and they said that they were given a blank check to do all the costumes, the sets, the special effects, the makeup. And you know what? Everybody in the audience, we were all professionals. We were all, it's called Below the Line. And I'll explain that later, but we were all professional people in the business, and we all said a blank check. Well, isn't that boring? That's too easy. We all worked with budgets, constraints, visions, constrained by what the director wanted, and visions constrained by what the budget was, but also constrained by the actors. Now, I say constrained first because I mean those are your parameters, but those also are the way that we move and we imagine and we create. So I said the director, the producer, and then we have the actor. We are constrained by the actor. Who is the actor? If you're imagining a tiny little character for the part of Anne, and then this big voluptuous woman shows up, you have to reimagine him. You are constrained by what the actor is. You are also constrained by what the actor wants to do with the character. Sometimes you meet with actors and they say, you know, that's not the way I see the part at all. I'm hoping to do this. And as a costume designer, we help them. We give it to them. Sometimes I give them a secret. This is my favorite thing to do. I will give them a piece of jewelry that will be hidden under a sweater. It'll always be hidden, but they know it's there. and they know what that piece of jewelry means. Maybe it was given to them by their mother who has just passed. I'm talking about the character's mother. I'm talking to the actor, and I'm saying, here is a piece of jewelry. This was Anne's mother's, and you will always know it's there. And when you're upset in different scenes, you can hold your hands right here and feel the love of your mother. That's what I like to do. Also, I would give them pockets, and I would put something in the pocket. And that something would be also a piece of jewelry or a little toy that reminds them of a moment in their childhood. One time I was doing a film about Ma Barker and her gang, and one of the characters, one of the 4 sons of Ma Barker, had drug problems, and he used heroin, so he would tie up. So I gave him a do-rag, and we would put it in his back pocket, but it wouldn't hang out. It would just be there. And a do-rag can hang out in back in the 80s and the 90s, perhaps now. It would show that you were homosexual or heterosexual. I don't remember which side meant which, but you would put it on one side of your back or the other side to let other people know your sexual preference. Well, we use the do-rag as a way of him tying up. And that's really sad. This was a sad movie. It was really sad. It was about Ma Barker, who was a crook in the 30s. Anyway, he always knew it was there, and he'd always put his hand in his pocket, and he would sigh. And he told me later that rag, that piece of cloth really gave him something. It really helped his performance. So that's how I work. I look at the parameters of the project. I read the script. I see how many costumes each character needs, and if the story takes place in the night or the day. Is it rainy? Do they need jackets? Is somebody going out for a walk? Does that person need a purse or a messenger bag? I take all that into account, and I make lots of notes, and then when I meet with the actors, I discuss all this, what their needs are. You have 10 costumes, you're going to need a jacket, you're going to need some kind of purse or bag to carry your stuff as you go from your house to your job. What is it that you're thinking of? Do you want something leather? Do you want something fun? Let's talk about your character. And I have explained before that I also talk about colors. And now that goes back to the director and the art director. The art director has already discussed sets with the director and created a palette. Then I meet with the art palette. Then I meet with the art director after I've met with the director. The director will say, my vision is, one time the vision was white, not film noir, film blanc, which means that it wasn't everything dark and shadowy, but it was everything light and bright. Odd. I didn't end up working on that film, and they didn't really achieve that. That's a tough thing. I'll have to go back and look at that film. Anyway, the director will give me a word, or I will circle out words and say, oh, how about dragon, colors of a dragon, the fierceness, the playfulness of the tail. What do you think? And he'll say, yes. So it's just a word, but it starts telling us about colors and textures and line. And when you think about dragon, you a very big and then a tiny, delicate head with fangs and lots of linear things coming off of that. And then the tail is soft and gentle and circular. So that gives me places to go for all the costumes, for all the characters. Maybe one character is just that linear part of the head. And maybe there's a character that is very quiet and soft, and that's the tail, the thumping tail. The art director will say, here are the sets. So this gives me an idea of what my costumes should be. They can't be the same colors, but they can be. They can be the same colors. For example, Royal Tenenbaums. If you watch Royal Tenenbaums, and Wes Anderson is the master of color and using color to tell the story. I used to show this movie, Royal Tenenbaums, to my class. We'd watch the whole film and we'd say, what's going on now? Who are these people? How are they relating to each other? In Royal Tenenbaums, Ben Stiller and his two boys wear red Adidas suits, total red, and the house is red. And guess what? They never leave the house. They belong to the house. They are stuck to the house. That's important. And Gene Hackman's character, the father, has been thrown out of the house. So what does he wear? Take a guess. He wears green. He wears green tweed suits, green plaid suits, but he loves the people in that house. So guess what his ties do? There's pink. There's pink stripes, little pieces of pink, which bring him back to the red interior of the house. That's so important. So that's what I do. That's how I get started. And then I start creating my world. As you can see, I'm doing kind of a fun Wednesday thing today.